Good evening, everyone. I, Khushbu Shah, on behalf of Women Members Empowerment Committee of ICI, welcome you all in the Sky High Symposium Series 32. It's a Wednesday series of programs conducted by the committee for the women and by the women. It is one of the Women Members Empowerment Committee's initiative to not only disseminate information to women members on technical updation and non-technical skills, but also to empower and inspire women members to come at forefront and release their verbal skills at public forum. Today we are going to cover session on non-compliance with laws and regulations, amendments to SEBI, listing obligations and disclosure requirements by Avanti Madam, and its impact on related party transactions. And in the second session, we will be doing Become a Best Version of Yourself by Poonam Madam. For our first session, Avanti Madam will be taking. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker. Ananti is a partner in audit and assurance practice based in Chennai with over 20 years of experience. Ananti has also worked in the US office of Deloitte for about 2 years as a part of Global Development Program. She is currently the business leader for Chennai Audit Practice and leads the Deloitte Private Initiative for South India. Ananti is a chartered accountant, a cost accountant, and a certified public accountant, CPA from USA. He is a commerce graduate from the University of Madras. Ananti has led and managed engagements for several listed clients in the manufacturing, healthcare, financial services, and consumer business industries. She has extensive experience in statutory audits and assurance engagements. She has also worked on IFRS, US GAAP, and PCAOB assignments and group reporting for Deloitte member firms. She had led engagements involving IPOs, QIPs, right issues, and IFRS convergence projects for major conglomerates in India. Ananti has presented on Ind AS, finance transformation and regulatory matters to the Confederation of Indian Industry, that is CII, and other industry forums. She is currently a member of Economic Affairs and Taxation Committee of CII, Tamil Nadu. I request Ananti to enlighten us more about the subject. Over to you, Ananti.
Thank you, Khushbu. Thanks, everyone. First of all, let me thank the Women Members Empowerment Committee of ICAI for giving me this opportunity to present to you two of the topics which are very relevant and pertinent in today's time. The topics that I'm going to be handling today is non-compliance with the laws and regulations, in short, NOCLAR. The second topic is amendments to SEBI LODR regulations, specifically with regard to related parties and related party transactions. Both these topics are very, very onerous to all our professional colleagues in the call today. Be it you having the role of those charged with governance, if you're part of key managerial personnel, senior professional accountant in an organization, if you are a practicing chartered accountant carrying out statutory audit or due diligences, whatever be it, these two regulations are going to cover a vast gamut of what all of us do on a daily basis. While both the regulations are currently applicable only to listed entities, the day is not far when it will get extended to other entities as well. So therefore, I would request all of you to concentrate on the key amendments and the requirements of these two topics. While it may not be applicable today, it will be applicable sooner. And also as chartered accountants, I think we are duty bound to comply with all these requirements. So before I start the topic, just one statutory warning. At the end of the session, if you all decide to change your profession, I may not be responsible for that. So with that, let me just start off with the two topics that I would like to present to you today. First is non-compliance with the laws and regulations. Sorry. So this is part of the code of ethics. As you know, our code of ethics is drawn from the International Federation of Accountants Board, which is IFAC, and ISBA is a part of the IFAC standards, which deals with code of ethics. Section 260 and Section 360 of Code of Ethics, which is part of Volume 1 of Code of Ethics 2019, was kept on hold and was not made applicable till recently. The ICAI came up with an announcement on September 29, 2022 to make these two codes applicable, and they are applicable from October 1st, 2022. This deals with circumstances where you will come across instances of non-compliance with any laws and regulations. As we go through the slide, we will touch upon what are all these non-compliances, who is responsible, how to deal with these non-compliances, etc. But this topic deals with circumstances when we as chartered accountants, be it professional accountant in practice or professional accountant in service, whatever be the role that we all play, if we come across an instance, how do we react to it? And what is the framework that is available for reporting such non-compliances and ensure that appropriate action is taken? As the gatekeepers of wealth in our country, and with the responsibility to ensure that the wealth of investors and all stakeholders are safeguarded, we as chartered accountants have the responsibility to pinpoint and identify and report on matters that result in non-compliance with laws and regulations rather than turn a blind eye. So far, there was no framework, so therefore nobody could have been as part of the ethics of the profession. In the absence of a framework and ambiguity on what one should do or what one should not do. But with the framework currently in place by way of this NOCLAR, which became applicable from October 1st, 2022, I think nobody can plead ignorance. It's there in black and white. It clearly states what is the responsibility of each and every member of the Chartered Accountants of India. So I'm going to split this into two. One is CAs in practice, and the second one is CA who are in service. As far as CAs in practice, I think it is more or less already there. There is nothing very different from what was already practiced. As a chartered accountant in practice, you were always governed by auditing standards, which requires you to communicate certain aspects to those charged with governance as part of your audit. Similarly, there were various sections of the company, for example, 143.12, which required you to report on any fraud that you observed during the course of audit. So therefore, this NOCLAR is really a much more reiteration of what we already do as CAs in practice. But this will be a complete game changer for CAs in service. It's going to be extremely onerous for CAs in service, because during the course of discharging their duty, they will come across various circumstances where they will have this question on whether it is a compliance or a non-compliance, or is there a possibility of non-compliance in the future. So therefore, I think one has to be extremely cautious. So let me just take up CAs in service first, because it's going to be, this framework is going to bring in a lot of rules for them to practice as we go along. So first, let us see to whom it is applicable in CAs in service, because a chartered accountant in service can play different roles in an organization. It's important to understand whether it is applicable to all, or is it applicable to only certain people or certain chartered accountants in the organization. So the definition clearly says that it is applicable to senior professional accountants in service, being employees of listed entities. As I told you, currently it's applicable only for listed entities. whose net worth is over 250 crores. The day is not far when it would get extended to all the entities. Uh, Coming to senior PAs or senior professional accountants, who are they? They are directors, officers, or senior employees who are able to exert significant influence over and make decisions regarding all key matters in an organization. So technically, or in summary, it refers to key managerial personnel. It could be the CEO, it could be a director, it could be the CFO, or it could be the head of HR, or it could be head of purchases, or anybody as long as he's a CA, it will get covered under this regulation. What are all the non-compliances that they need to report to, and who could commit such non-compliances? So Section 260, which deals with PAs in service, clearly says that chartered accountants will be responsible for any non-compliance of laws and regulations that could comprise of omission, commission, intentional or unintentional. It could be anything. As long as there is a non-compliance with laws and regulations, it needs to be reported upon. And who can commit such non-compliance? It could be other professional accountants employed by the organization. So it could be your fellow colleagues, your team members who are employed in the organization. Those charged with governance of the employee organization. It could be your CEO, CFO, audit committee member, anybody who are those charged with governance of the organization. Then management of the organization. So all the CXOs of the organization will get covered under this category. And other individuals working for and under the direction of the employee organization. So which means the entire employees of the organization, starting from the office assistant all the way up to the audit committee member. A professional chartered accountant working in an organization will be responsible to identify or if they come across any non-compliance with laws and regulations, be responsible to report and take appropriate action. Let's look at what are the responsibilities if somebody comes across such a situation. We'll deal with that in the subsequent slides. As you know, a member of the institute, whether in practice or not, shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he or she contravenes any provisions of the act or regulations made thereunder. So now that this has become an act, if you are proven to be guilty of professional misconduct, that you were aware of the circumstances, but you had not escalated it or reported it or had not taken appropriate action, you will be subject to penal provisions of ICAI. So therefore, one needs to be conscious of the fact that you are responsible. Let me give you an example. For assuming you are the CFO of the organization and there is an internal audit report that gets presented to the audit committee every quarter. And if certain non-compliances are reported in that internal audit report, it becomes your responsibility as well to make sure that that non-compliance is appropriately remediated. If not remediated within a short period of time, then it will be your responsibility to ensure that appropriate action is taken in a timely manner. If for some reason it is not happening, then it becomes your responsibility to further report as per the policy of your company. So therefore, you cannot ignore a fact saying that if there is an internal audit report which talks about, say, PF non-compliance, you cannot just keep quiet saying it is the HR head's problem and not my problem, and you need not deal with it. So going forward, if you come across such instances and if you become aware of such instances, you will have to bring it to light. Similarly, let me give you one more example. Assuming you're part of a negotiation team, your purchases team is there, you are there, and you are evaluating terms and conditions of the contract. So during the course of this discussion, if you come to know that the other party is related to one of the purchases team members, or there is some kickback that is involved in the contract, you can no longer turn a blind eye. It becomes your responsibility to bring this to the attention of your management or those charged with governance. And if those charged with governance are also involved in such activities, then escalate all the way to the appropriate regulatory authority, or consult a lawyer and take appropriate legal action. So it's quite serious, and one has to be completely aware of our onerous responsibility as a chartered accountant. And this is exactly what this regulation is prescribing. What are the laws and regulations that we need to be considerate about? First, any direct effect on the determination of material amounts and disclosures in the financial statement. For example, there could be an implication on the measurement of an account balance, or it could even be a disclosure when you are intentionally disclosing certain facts very differently, or if you're disclosing it in different places so that it becomes difficult for the reader to understand, or if there is some attempt to mislead the amounts or disclosures in the financial statement, then you shall be responsible to highlight such instances. Second is other laws and regulations, compliance, which may be fundamental to the entity's business and operations. It could be any licenses that the organization should get, compliance with labor laws, compliance with Factories Act, compliance with any law which is applicable to that particular industry and that particular business. So you shall be responsible, and you, if you come across any non-compliance in these areas, you shall be responsible to report. You don't have to ensure compliance, but if you come across any instances of non-compliance, then you become responsible to report such non-compliances. So examples could be anything. It could be far and beyond. It could be fraud, corruption, bribery, money laundering, securities market trading, insider trading, or it could be data protection, public health, safety. So it's by and large the entire canvas, because in India, an organization will have so many laws and regulations to comply with. So therefore, if you come across any such instance during the course of rendering your duty, it shall become your responsibility to report it. So what is your responsibility? You need to ensure that the employee, means those charged with governance and the independent directors of the company, are actually responsible to ensure that organizations' business activities are conducted in accordance with laws and regulations. So therefore, if we ensure that the organization has good governance standards and the management's integrity is upheld all times, then half the work is done. So you can rest in peace, because most of it would be taken care of as part of the governance model. They are themselves responsible to identify and address any non-compliances relating to the employing organization or individuals charged with governance of employing organization, etc. All professional accountants will have to follow protocols and procedures. So if you come across such non-compliance, what is it that you are required to do? In the case of a professional accountant who is working in service, it is important for the organization to lay down policies and procedures which will enable the professional accountant to act if he or she comes across any such instances or suspected non-compliance. Say, for example, a whistleblower mechanism. If your organization has a whistleblower mechanism, you know what to do. In case if you come across any such instances, you can report through the whistleblower channel. There could be a circumstance where if you don't have the whistleblower mechanism, or if you're not comfortable doing that through whistleblowers mechanism, you can always, if the policy of your organization allows you to report to, say, if you are the CFO, and if you believe that reporting this to your CEO will help you address this issue, then you will have to exercise your judgment and bring this to the attention of the CEO and ensure appropriate action is taken. So you need to be in the loop until everything gets resolved and the matter is fully addressed. Assuming if you believe that the CEO may not be the right person and in some way or the other, he is also kind of involved in such non-compliance, or he is aware of such, he or she is aware of such non-compliance, but no action has been taken so far. And if you're not comfortable with it, then probably you can approach the audit committee chairman or the audit committee members, or if the policy of your company requires you to report to any particular director in the board, you can reach out to them. But if you believe that even those charged with governance are involved in such instances, then you can also go and report to maybe the Institute of Chartered Accountants or Ministry of Corporate Affairs, or any regulator whom you think would be appropriate under such circumstances. It is always prudent to get a legal support or a legal counsel also before you start to act on such matters. What is it that you are required to maintain? Because today you might take appropriate action, but tomorrow, if for some reason you are asked to prove how you identified the matter and how the matter got addressed, you need to have documentation to support that you have executed your responsibility appropriately and you have complied with the requirements of NOCLAR. So in order to do that, all the senior PAs should document their understanding of the matter, how the matter has been addressed, what is the advice they sought, whom they approached, and what further action is needed, whether it was disclosed to the appropriate authority, and then documentation of all of this, including the conclusion as to how this was finally resolved. So this documentation needs to be maintained. Again, all of this is for material non-compliances. You don't have to consider this for non-compliances which are not material. But again, what is material and what is not material is a matter of judgment. And again, you need to have a policy in your organization which clearly defines what is material and what is not material. And when you document it, it is also important for you to provide your assessment on whether it is material or not. Because if it is not material, you don't have to go through the whole hog. You can say that you've come across this, but it was not material. Matter was discussed and how it was resolved, and you can close it. But if it is a material non-compliance, then you will have to go through the entire process and you will have to document everything, and that document should be appropriately archived, so that tomorrow, if some investigation happens or some inquiry comes up, you will have appropriate documentation to demonstrate that you have performed your duty in accordance with the regulations of ICAI. So with that, let me move to PAs in practice. As I told you, with regard to PAs in practice, most of the things are already being done. The only difference, as I see here, is if a statutory auditor comes to know of any non-compliances or any fraud or suspected non-compliance, they cannot just resign from the audit without highlighting the facts and circumstances under which they had to resign, or even if they had to resign for other reasons, if they were aware of any such non-compliance at that point of time, the practicing chartered accountant will be duty bound to highlight such non-compliances and report such non-compliances to those charged with governance. If they come across such situations, it is important that they do consult their internal firm's consultation team or take a legal counsel on how they need to approach this particular issue on a confidential basis. They can also reach out to the appropriate professional body if considered appropriate. Once they have done the consultation, they need to report this to those charged with governance. If this is a group audit and there is a group engagement partner involved, then it becomes the responsibility of the component engagement partner to also bring this to the attention of the group engagement partner, who in turn will be responsible to report to the group's governance body. You also will be responsible to assess the response you received from the management and those charged with governance and see whether the response is appropriate and timely, whether it is addressing the issue on hand. And depending on the response and outcome, the professional accountant will further decide whether to escalate this matter or report this matter to a regulator or any other appropriate authority, and whether they should withdraw from the engagement. If they believe that the issue is pervasive and it impacts the governance, corporate governance of the organization, or if it questions the integrity of the management, and if the practicing chartered accountant is not comfortable with continuing in that engagement, then he will have to follow appropriate process to withdraw from the engagement. So therefore, we come to the end of NOCLA. What are the consequences of non-compliance? As we said, we'll all chartered accountants will be subject to disciplinary action if we do not comply with these regulations. In addition to that, the brand and reputation of the organization will be at risk if it is not reported in a timely manner and this is not appropriately addressed. The reputation risk of the community of accountants as a whole will be impacted. Therefore, it is important we as a community are very vigilant and we report any such non-compliances. Of course, there can also be punitive actions in the form of fines or loss. Failure to comply will be considered unlawful and the results may impact the larger public interest. So as the gatekeepers of the wealth in our country and also the stock market, it is important that we report any such non-compliances as and when we come to know about it. Of course, we will have to evaluate and apply our judgment to conclude whether it is material or not. And if it is concluded to be material, appropriate action needs to be taken as we had discussed in the session. So what I will do is I'll move on to the next topic. You can park your questions and probably in the last 10 minutes, if I'm not sure whether it will be opened up for questions or whether you need to put it in the chat box. But I'll be happy to respond to your questions after I finish the second topic as well. The second topic is SEBI LODR amendments relating to related party and related party transactions. Again, this is a far-reaching amendment. It expands the gamut of or the canvas of related parties significantly beyond what is currently envisaged under the Companies Act and our accounting standards. It goes far and beyond, and the thresholds are also continuously being reduced in order to identify the related parties and make it as transparent as possible. When SEBI is making these amendments, obviously we know that the background of these amendments are because of what they have observed in various organizations and how related party transactions were structured so as to get out of the purview of the related party transactions. So they have kind of enhanced the definition as well as the transactions that get covered under RPT, just to make sure that all critical transactions do get covered and go through the appropriate approvals. This particular amendment, I would say, is making the independent directors extremely onerous because the audit committee is required to approve all the related party transactions. The Companies Act and SEBI earlier did not prescribe what are all the documents that needs to be reviewed by the audit committee. Companies Act did come up with the recommendations on what are all the documents that needs to be provided to the shareholders and the board of directors for approval of RPTs. In this particular amendment, SEBI specifically provides what are all the documents that the audit committee needs to go through before approving related party transactions. Plus, the disclosures are also being made more stringent and timely. So with that, let me take you through the key amendments. The amendments are mostly applicable from 1st April 22, while some of the amendments will come into effect from 1st April 2023. So wherever it will be applicable from 2023, I will highlight them to you as we go through the presentation. Critically, the main areas where amendments have taken place is the definition of related parties and related party transactions. Second area is the audit committee's approval. Third is the materiality threshold and shareholders' approval for RPT. And finally, enhanced disclosures. So let's go through each one of them. As you can see in the slide, all the changes are highlighted in green for your quick reference. And I've plotted what was the definition before the amendment and what is the definition after amendment so that it can be clearly understood. Initially, the definition of related parties included related parties as defined under Section 276 of the Companies Act and the applicable accounting standards. Later, it also included any person or entity belonging to the promoter or promoter group of listed entity and holding 20% or more of the shareholding of the listed entity. So while it included promoter and promoter group, it only included those promoter and promoter group individuals who were holding more than 20%. Let us see what has happened after the amendment. This 20% threshold has been removed. Now, any person or entity forming part of the promoter or promoter group will automatically become a related party. This will be applicable from 1st April 22. They did not stop with this. They went beyond this and they said that any person or any entity holding equity shares in the listed entity, either directly or on beneficial interest basis, as prescribed under Section 89 of the Companies Act 2013, at any time during the immediately preceding financial year, if these persons or entities hold more than 20% of the shareholding of the entity, they will become related parties effective from 1st April. Now watch out. From 1st April 2023, this threshold is being reduced to 10%, which means more shareholders will come under the gamut of related party transactions. Let's take one example. For example, LIC or a PE investor or a bank or an FPI, they do hold more than 10% in certain organizations. So they all will become related parties, and there might be, if it is a LIC, there might be transactions in the regular course of business, but all of them will have to be passed through the audit committee. And you can imagine the time that the audit committee will need to invest going forward. But all of this is with a purpose, because people were, trying to structure the holding in such a manner that they did not fall within the definition of related party. And therefore, SEBI has made it more and more stringent and make sure that there are no loopholes left in the definition. Moving on to related party transactions. So earlier, the related party transactions pertained to the listed entity only and did not extend beyond the listed entity. Now what has happened? In addition to the related party transactions entered into by the listed entity, it has now been extended to all the subsidiaries of the listed entity as well. So for example, if there is a transaction where either the listed entity or its subsidiary is a party on one hand, and there is a related party on the other hand, then all of this also needs to be reported to SEBI. So this is effective from 1st April 2022. And see how gradually it extends. And the next bullet is extremely important. It says that a listed entity or any of its subsidiaries on one hand and any other person or entity on the other hand, the purpose and effect of which is to benefit a related party of the listed entity or any of its subsidiaries. So this doesn't even restrict to parties who have identified as related party, even be it an extended definition. Doesn't matter. But here is a clause which creates a lot of ambiguity. How do you prove that certain transactions are not for the purpose or effect or in effect is for the benefit of the related party of a listed entity or any of its subsidiaries? So this makes it extremely onerous. So this would require a significant, a detailed review by the audit committee. They will have to go through each and every material contract which the company enters into to evaluate whether the onus to prove that it is not for the purpose or for the benefit of any related party of the listed entity or any of the subsidiary will be initially on the management of the entity, and then it will have to pass, it will also have to go through the review of the audit committee. The audit committee will have to review and conclude that yes, it is not for any purpose or benefit of the related party. So this is going to become extremely onerous, and this is effective from 1st April 2023. So even if you are not a listed entity, if you are a subsidiary of listed entity, all of this will become applicable to you going forward. You will have to be mindful of your related parties plus the related parties of your listed parent, and make sure you capture all the information and all the transactions that you propose to enter into with these entities, so that they are appropriately placed at the beginning of the year and approvals of audit committee, board or shareholders as the case may be is obtained. So this is one of the very, very significant amendments that have come in with regard to what is defined as a related party transaction. And this is going to raise a lot of eyebrows, lot of, means I think the audit committee will have to spend an enormous time going forward in the future to ensure that they don't miss out any related parties and they don't miss out any related party transactions. Moving on to the audit committee's approval. So currently it says that prior approval of the audit committee for all related party transactions. So that continues to be there, prior approval of RPTs, and prior approval is also required for any subsequent material modifications. So that is the first amendment that has come in terms of approval. Now, let us look at the threshold. We said that the related party transactions of the subsidiary will also now have to be reviewed and evaluated by the audit committee of the parent, and they have to report to SEBI. Later on, when we discuss about the disclosures, we will talk about that. But now, the audit committee of the listed parent is responsible for reviewing the related party transactions and related parties of the subsidiary as well. However, a threshold has been put in place. Again, look at this. With effect from 1st April 2022, the threshold is 10% of the annual consolidated turnover of the group, of the listed entity. So, for example, if the listed entity has a consolidated turnover of 50,000 crores, then 10% of that would be around 5,000 crores. And any transaction which exceeds this is what will have to be reviewed by the audit committee. Now, let us look at the second bullet, which becomes effective from 1st April 2023. This threshold, which was 10% of consolidated turnover, is going to become 10% of the annual standalone turnover of the subsidiary coming from 1st April 2023. So, for example, if that subsidiary is a very, very small subsidiary with, say, 100 crores of turnover, then the threshold will be 10 crores as against 5,000 crores. For example, the same entity which has a consolidated turnover of 50,000 crores and has one subsidiary, the turnover of which is, say, 100 crores, and it's a small entity. So the threshold for review drops significantly from 5,000 crores to 10 crores. You can imagine the extent of documentation, work, and the audit committee's time that is going to be spent on approval of each of these related party transactions. And there is some respite. They have said that if the subsidiary is also a listed entity, and if the audit committee of that listed subsidiary is complying with these requirements of SEBI, then the audit committee of the parent need not once again do this review. So that's one respite that is coming in here. Similarly, if there is an unlisted subsidiary of the listed subsidiary, and the listed subsidiary is already approving these related party transactions, you again need not go to the parent's audit committee for approval. So I spoke about the information to be reviewed by the audit committee. So SEBI has made it very explicit as to what are all the information that the audit committee needs to review before they come to a conclusion. If the audit committee needs to review this, the management has to provide all this information to the audit committee for them to come to a conclusion, which means they will have to send detailed folders much ahead of the audit committee meeting so that adequate time is provided to the audit committee members to review and come ask additional clarifications if necessary, and then conclude on the related party transactions. So let's look at some of these information that needs to be provided. You have to explain the nature, type, what are the material terms and conditions of the transaction, what is the tenure of the proposed transaction, what is the value, details of related party, its relationship with listed entity, subsidiary, and including nature of its concern or interest. Then the percentage of listed entities' annual consolidated turnover during the immediately preceding financial year, that is something mandatory. You can percentage of counterparties' annual consolidated turnover, that is currently on voluntary basis, but as a good governance, it would be important to provide that information also so that the audit committee is in a position to come to a considered view. And again, if there are any loans, ICDs, advances, or investments that are given to related parties, the company has to provide details of source of funds in connection with the proposed transaction. If they have taken if they have taken a loan, or if there is any financial indebtedness that is incurred to give this loan, ICD, or advance, that should also be disclosed. The nature of debt, cost of funds, tenure, etc., should be disclosed to the audit committee. Then the other applicable terms of this debt, be it covenants, tenure, interest rate, repayment schedule, secured, unsecured, what is the security, all of that will have to be explained. Then purpose for which the funds will be utilized by the ultimate beneficiary of such funds, that should also be explained. So this is going to be a very, very critical document. If you are in service, then you will be involved in preparation of all these documents. If you are in practice, I think when we are testing related party transactions, these documents which were provided to the audit committee for obtaining prior approval of the related party transactions will help us come to conclusions and also help us in building the documentation for our own audit. So I think this is going to be very, very helpful going forward. Come to the point E. It says justification as to why RPT is in the interest of listed entity. So you need to also explain why this transaction is important and why do you have to enter into such transaction. And if any valuation report is required, that also needs to be provided to demonstrate that the transactions are at arm's length, and any other information that may be relevant or may be called for by the audit committee. Then look at the last statement in this slide. So the circular also requires audit committee to review the status of long term, which means it's just not sufficient to look at the impact for 1 year. You need to also look at the impact that it will have on the entity on the long term. And recurring RPTs should also be evaluated on an annual basis. While at the time of entering into the transaction, you look at the impact during the course of the tenure of the contract. It also requires you to review them on a recurring basis every year. This is on audit committee. Now let's move on to the thresholds that have been set for taking the related party transactions to shareholders for their approval. The threshold so far has been 10% of the annual consolidated turnover of the listed entity. So if any of the transactions cross this limit, then you had to take it to the shareholders for approval. It was silent as to whether it is a prior approval or can it be ratified later. But now the amendment makes it very clear that even the shareholders' approval needs to be obtained prior to entering into material related party transactions or prior to carrying out any material modifications. So this means that a company will have to plan what are all the related party transactions that are likely to be entered during the year. and get the omnibus approval in the beginning of the year. If for some reason they come to know that certain transactions need to be entered during the course of the financial year, then probably they may have to call for an EGM to get the shareholders' approval. So going forward, we can expect more EGMs to happen because it's very difficult in today's dynamic world. It is very difficult to kind of get approval upfront in the AGM. With several mergers, acquisitions, and consolidations happening, the related parties and the related party transactions may also undergo change during the course of the year. So therefore, one needs to continuously keep a watch and monitor the related party transactions so that they don't miss out anything and appropriate prior approvals are obtained before the transactions are entered into. With regard to the transactions which the subsidiary of a listed entity has entered into with related parties, so there also a prior approval of the shareholders will be required. But if the subsidiary is a listed subsidiary and their shareholders are approving it, there is no need to again take it to the shareholders of the parent company. Threshold also has been modified. Earlier, the threshold was 10% of the annual consolidated turnover. But now there is another condition that has been brought in. It says rupees 1,000 crore or 10% of the consolidated annual turnover. So I gave you another example in the past. So for example, if the consolidated turnover is say 50,000 crores, then 10% would have been 5,000 crores. So all with related party transactions above 5,000 would have been considered material and you should have gone to the shareholders for approval. Now with this lower cap of 1,000 crores, there will be more related party transactions that needs to be subjected to shareholders' approval. And this also has become applicable from 1st April 22. Moving on to transactions which are exempt from getting shareholders' approval. Any transactions between two government companies and between a holding company and its wholly owned subsidiary are exempt. You need not go through the approval process. What has been added to this list is if there are transactions between two wholly owned subsidiaries of the listed entity, and if these accounts are getting consolidated with such holding company and placed before the shareholders at the AGM for approval, then such related party transactions need not be subjected to prior approval by the audit committee or the shareholders, as the case may be. So this is some respite again for transactions within the same group, provided the subsidiaries are wholly owned subsidiaries. Now let's look at the enhanced disclosures. We all know that all listed companies have started submitting the half-yearly disclosures of related parties. Currently, they need to submit this disclosure 30 days from the date of publication of the standalone and consolidated financial results. That going forward is going to be reduced to 15 days, that is for 22-23. And from 1st April 2023, they have to submit the disclosure of the RPT also on. They will be publishing their standalone and consolidated financial results. The format. Currently, the format is as specified by the accounting standards for annual results. This was before 1st April 22. The format was as prescribed by the accounting standards for annual results. Now, SEBI has specifically provided a format with certain information that needs to be filled in and submitted. And this information needs to be submitted to the stock exchange as well as required to be published on company's website. Already in one of the previous amendments, SEBI had included high value debt entities. What is a high value debt entity? It is an entity which has issued non-convertible debt securities and which exceed 500 crores. So these entities were also required to comply with this disclosure requirement. For the year 22-23, it is voluntary. You can either comply or explain when there are queries that would come in later. And from 1st April 2023, it becomes mandatory for these entities as well. In addition to these disclosures that are made on a half-yearly basis to SEBI, There are certain additional disclosures that are required to be made in the annual report as well as the corporate governance report. Basically, these pertain to disclosures of loans and advances in the nature of loans, advance to firms and companies in which the directors are interested. You need to also mention the name of the entity and the amount. However, this requirement will not be applicable to listed banks. So some of these requirements we as auditors are reporting in our CARO report, which became applicable for the year ended March 22. Now, these information will also be required to be disclosed in the annual report and corporate governance report. So we need to make sure that all of them are in sync with our reporting. When it comes to banks and NBFCs, if transactions include acceptance of fixed deposits from related parties, and even if the terms are uniformly applicable and offered to all shareholders and public, still they need to report such transactions. So with that, we come to an end of this session, and I think we have about 7 more minutes. So in case if you have any questions, any clarifications, we'll be happy to respond. Thank you. Khushbu, will the participants be in a position to ask questions, or is that not possible?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, ma'am. One of the questions from the participant is that does NOCLAR cover all other laws and regulations which are applicable to an entity?
Yes, as I explained earlier, it will apply to the laws and regulations which are relevant for the organization. If you are a professional accountant in service, you will have to consider all the laws and regulations which are relevant for that organization. For example, if you are a pharma company, there are certain regulations which will apply to a pharma company. And if you are a manufacturing entity, probably those regulations will not apply to you. So whatever is relevant for your organization.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. Another question is regarding the limits that have been reduced for related parties. So the question is that from 1st April 23, the 20% limit has been reduced to 10% in the Companies Act.
Not in the Companies Act. It is the SEBI's regulation. So therefore, it is for purposes of reporting to SEBI. Companies Act has not been amended.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Another question is that what challenges do you see with respect to reporting related party transactions under the new format?
New timelines?
No, challenges as in because it seems there are a lot of new additional requirements in the new format. So what sort of challenges could come up by reporting?
So the challenge itself, the first challenge is completeness of related parties and the related party transactions. Unless the organization has a robust documentation to capture this information at the time of, even proposing to enter into such transactions, it will become a non-compliance and will become a big issue. So since now everything is a prior approval, it's important that you discuss and plan such transactions well in advance, and it cannot happen in the last minute. So therefore, it involves very careful planning and monitoring. One has to have a complete tab on the related parties and related party transactions, especially if there are if there are a lot of dynamism in that industry. For example, if there is a new PE investor who is coming in, or if a PE investor is exiting from the entity, or if there are some mergers and amalgamations that are being planned. then it becomes very important to take all of this into consideration and see how it will impact the reporting to SEBI. So therefore, there has to be a dedicated team which will continue to monitor related party transactions. There has to be a mechanism where any contracts or agreements are even at the stage when they are incubated or such a thought is incubated or planned, the regulatory team which is monitoring related party transactions should be made known. Like how in a CA firm, there is always a process to check conflict before entering into any engagement. So there has to be a process like that in the organization also, so that whomsoever is initiating or planning to initiate such a transaction, there has to be a process where they intimate the regulatory team, get a pre-approval, understand what are all the procedures that needs to be followed, so that the compliance is not missed out.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. That was very clear. Yes, and it will definitely be a big challenge going forward, especially since we have to make that reporting within 15 days.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I think there are no further questions. So
Thank you.
yes, it is been my privilege to extend a vote of thanks on this occasion. So, on behalf of the Women Empowerment Committee of the ICAI, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to Ananti ma'am for your excellent presentation on the NOCLAR as well as the SEBI LODR regulations. Ma'am, you have very succinctly explained the nuances in the new laws, and thank you very much for taking out of your busy schedule.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you for giving me this opportunity. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Now, my colleague Anne Jose will introduce our next session.
Yeah, a very good evening to all the members. I am CA Annie Jose from Tuticorin branch of ICAI. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of this symposium conducted by the Women Members Empowerment Committee. Coming to the topic of the session, become the best version of yourself. When every person tries to become the best version of himself or herself, it is not only benefiting the individual, but also the society at large. It's my proud privilege to introduce the speaker for the session, CA Poonam Pathak, MC member Navi Mumbai of ICAI. She's a practicing chartered accountant, partner at Ajay Sani and Company, a postgraduate in commerce, and she has more than 5 years of rich experience in tax, audit and compliances, and company law matters. She is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. She is also a qualified independent director with the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. She has done her internship in cyber security with the cyber cell of the Gurgaon Police. She is currently pursuing her DISA, Certified Ethical Hacker, and LLB. Her core expertise is in audit of companies, bank audit, and company law matters. She is also a trainer, panelist, and speaker for various programs of ICAI and various other public forums. She is an ardent women empowerment activist. She is also a fitness enthusiast and has participated in more than 50 marathons. Her other certifications with the Institute include Forensic Audit and Fraud Detection, Concurrent Audit, Anti-Money Laundering, Public Finance and Government Accounting, Corporate Social Responsibility, and Business Responsibility and Sustainable Reporting. We are very happy to have you amongst us, ma'am. And over to you, ma'am.
I'm really sorry. Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. And I'm really grateful for the Women Empowerment Committee for believing in me and giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on becoming the best version of ourselves, I will say, because I include myself also, because I'm also learning. And whatever I have covered in the session, that is what I'm reading, what in last 3-4 years I have read. So I'm also learning, and I'm sharing with you also. This is kind of a topic like becoming best version of ourselves. It implies on me as well. So I'm sharing my PPT. So this is our today's topic, becoming the best version of yourself. And when we are talking about becoming something, then it is understood that we don't want to be the same person as we are. So here comes a question: Are we all willing to not to be the stuck where we are, or not to be the same person as we are today? So, can I get the answers in chat box? Whether the participant will be able to write?
No, ma'am. Participant would not be able because they have joined through another link. Huh?
Understood. So this is the question. First, we need to ask ourselves that are we ready for the change, and where we are today, are we ready to choose to not to be the same person and not to stuck in the same situation where we are? This is the first question we need to ask, and obviously we all are here and joining the session. It means and it implies that yes, we want to upgrade ourselves and we want to grow from the person we are today to someone else and something else. So when we are talking about becoming someone else here, obviously the thing is that there will be a change, and for that change there will be a price. So everything you want in life has a price connected to it. Whether you want to pay that price or not, that is your choice, but there is a price to pay if you want to make things better, or price to pay for leaving things as they are. If you are like willingness to do something, if you are choosing your health as a priority, then there is a price that you have to give your time. You have to make some efforts for it, and if you choose to be the same and not to prioritize your health, then there is a price in the means of getting disease, getting sick, and paying for your hospital's bill, and taking medicine. That is also a price. And there is another price. If you are choosing your health, you are prioritizing your health, then you have to give up some kind of foods, you have to give up some kind of your habits. So it is totally your choice, and it differ from one person to another person what kind of price you want to pay. But obviously if you are choosing something, then there is a price you have to pay for that. This is one thing which is very, very, very clear in becoming someone else or growing. If you want to grow as a person, then in our today's PPT, I have included 5 points. There are a lot of points and there are a lot of things which can be, but as I have included what I'm actually applying in my life and what I have followed in last 3-4 years. Those 5 points, these are the main, I believe is important for you to grow, is believe in yourself. Because if you want to change, you want to upgrade yourself, the first thing you have to believe that yes, I can do it. This is the first thing you have to say to yourself. And the second thing is self discipline, because if you are not disciplined, you can't get anything. Even we have become chartered accountant, we were disciplined for our studies. Those people, our friends who were not that much discipline, they have not got that degree. So there is discipline which we need to follow. Then health is wealth. This is my mantra, and I follow this, and I prioritize my health over each and everything. And you can say everyone also, because you are healthy, then you are able to do the things you want to do. If you are sick, there are a lot of things you can't do in your life. So health is wealth. Then importance of self-talk. This we are going to understand in our later slides what self-talk is and how important these are and in our life, and how they play such a major role in our life. And we are consciously not giving that much importance to our self-talk. Another point is forgiveness. This is something very important. If you want to grow in your life, you want to go to the higher heights, you have to forgive lot of people, lot of situation, and you have to forgive yourself as well. Because if you keep yourself blaming for the situation, for the circumstances, and for the decisions you made earlier, you can't grow in your life. So one by one, we are going to discuss these 5 points, and our talk will be around these 5 talks only, these 5 points only. So first is believe in yourself. When we are talking about it, I have a very beautiful video of a mother and kid. I want to play this. Audio is not coming, but it now audible. Now it is audible. Not audible.
It's audible.
Here we have seen in this video, once this small kid starts believing in himself and let go of the fear he's having, the things changed. Similarly happens with us also. We are fearful for a lot of things, for a lot of situation, and once we believe, the fear just disappears. It sometimes it's just in our mind only, and we are fearful for a lot of things, for the situations, like of things. But once we face fear, things just change, and that may not be the real what we are assuming it to be. So when we are believing in yourself, the first thing comes, it starts with you only. Everything and every change starts with you. Once you decide that it's the time and I need to change the things, it starts and it happens. So here are some points I have included, like figure out what you are as a person rather than the role you are playing. So in life we play a lot of role. So there is one Poonam, and also I am playing a lot of roles also, like as a mother, as a daughter, as a wife, and as a sister. Other than those roles I'm playing in my life, who Poonam is, what she want to do in her life. That is the first question Poonam need to ask herself. And once she asks what she likes and what she want to do in her life, the answer she gets and the clarity she gets कि मुझे मेरी लाइफ में एक्चुअल में करना क्या है. And after that change and after that clarity, okay, I want this thing in my life and this is something I like to do. The second question come, am I ready for that change? Whatever I want to, in my life, I have to do some different things. I have to follow some different paths. So am I ready for that change? Because change is only constant in life. So don't be afraid of choosing something different, because lot of opposition may come. People around you may not accept your ideas, but you have to be that much strong in your life to accept that change in your life. And another thing is limiting your own growth. So for the females, this happens a lot of time. We doubt ourselves कि अगर हमने ज्यादा grow किया more than our male parts, or maybe our father and brother, then it creates some kind of guilt कि नहीं, मतलब उनको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. Maybe those people will not feel good. But I read a lot about it, and I discussed, I have taken mentorship about it, and what I understood with all this, like you should not stop your growth because someone may feel bad about it. You should keep growing. You should learn new things, and with this you help others, people around you. You help them to grow. You whatever you know, you try to like pull them up as well with you. But because of the pressure from other people, and मतलब like if there are two sisters, so one is not growing because मेरी sister को बुरा लगेगा अगर मैं ये चीजें कर रही हूँ या मैं ये path follow कर रही हूँ. Somewhere आप खुद के साथ में सही नहीं कर रहे हो. So up to the extent possible you help others, but never stop your growth for someone else. Another point is like not choosing is also a choice. So there is a case study I read about it, like if someone is in a like a bad relationship, and they try to stuck in that relationship because they think like I don't have any choice, मुझे तो रहना ही है इस relationship में. And sometimes that person is doubtful about themselves and fearful about this. This is the situation that person is facing because she is not choosing to come out of that decision she is making. So she is is still making a choice by not making any choice of coming out of that relationship. He is still making a choice to stay in that relationship. So that is also your choice. Whatever choice you are making, you are creating your future, like every day, every minute, every second, whatever you are choosing in your life. And detachment. So, because this is a talk from the Women Empowerment Committee, so a lot of things will come like woman centric also. So it comes for us female, be attached to the situation and to the things, to the people. Even when we are in our home, we are so much attached to the things कि नहीं ये तो इसको घर के बाहर नहीं फेंकना है बिकॉज ये हमने एट दैट मोमेंट ऑफ टाइम बाई किया था और kind of emotions always attached to the person, to the materialistic things also. And sometimes this attachment becomes a very hurdle in our life for growing, because each and every moment demands a new you, a different you. I read about this also, like when a 4-year-old kid is singing a nursery rhyme, then you will praise that kid and like pat her back and all. But if the same kid is singing the nursery rhyme when that kid is turning 10 or maybe more than that, will you be doing the same thing? No, then this is foolish. So similarly happens with us also. Like what to be as a person 5 years back, if we are the same right now also, we are not able to leave the old us or the person or maybe the circumstances which is not useful for us. We are just attaching because of the emotions. Sometimes it becomes a hurdle for us for our growth. So this is a question for all of us also, and me also. Like lot of time we gives us lot of opportunity, or maybe lot of things, because we are so much attached to our kids as a mother. We can't choose things for ourselves. So here comes a question: are you ready for this detachment? Detachment doesn't mean you are not emotional, you are not taking care of others and yourself, but you are not that much attached to the situation that you, if any opportunity comes to you, are not taking that opportunity as well. So this is a question. And then another thing is success and failures. So we as a females have like a lot of that pressure of being a perfectionist, and we can't fail. And if any decisions we are taking, then लोग क्या बोलेंगे, सोसाइटी क्या बोलेगी, फैमिली क्या बोलेगी, अरे हमने तो बहुत सोच के ये डिसीजन लिया है लोगों से डिस्कस करके एंड ऑल, एंड अगर हम इसमें फेल हो गए तो व्हाट द अदर विल थिंक. We need to understand, if we are choosing something different and we want to grow and we want to learn something and we want to do something different in our life, there may be either failure or success. It is part of that process. You can fail or you can succeed, because as a child, when we are learning to walk and talk, we do lot of mistakes. We fall so much of time, but that time we don't think that we are failure, because before we started walking we have fallen so much of time. No, that time nobody called that child as a failure. But once you are adult, you have grown up, you are making any choice, and if you are failing in that, even in a relationship, if that relationship is not working, we are so much hurtful and having that ki अरे ये तो work नहीं हुआ. But many times things doesn't work. So whether you will stop choosing things or you will stop doing things in a different way, ask this question to yourself. But if I say we should not stop taking, like doing new things and making new choices, because it may be failure, it may be success. This both are the part of your life. You give your 100% to the work you are doing. And the value of time is not how many things you get done, but the joy you experience in things that you do. So before the lockdown time, what people are doing, they're following their daily schedule, going office, coming home, and doing those routine work. But when this lockdown gave a pause to everyone, it gives a time to rethink ourselves. Whatever we are doing in our life, is it meaningful? Is it what we want to do? So, lot of people have changed their work, their residence, like residing people. They move to their hometowns and all, because this period of 1 year of lockdown gave them an opportunity to rethink. So similarly, we need to ask ourselves also, whatever we are doing in life, whatever the routine life we are following, is it something giving you happiness or joy, or you are doing the things for just the sake of, because you are supposed to do this? Because I'm a mother, I have to live a life what others are living, because my sisters are living the life. Similarly, I am supposed to live that life. So this is the question we need to ask ourselves, because whatever things we are doing in our day-to-day life doesn't mean it is adding happiness or joy to yourself. And why we are talking about the happiness or joy, because the ultimately goal in life is to achieve our own happiness. Whatever we are doing in our life, if we want to grow, if we want to become another version of ourselves, why? Because it is adding something in our life, it is adding in our happiness. If you are not happy, then it doesn't mean of doing something or being someone. Here we are moving to our next slide, and the next topic, self-discipline. So while talking about the self-discipline, it is the key for your self-esteem, self-respect, and personal pride as well. The more a person is disciplined, they respect themselves more, they have high self-esteem. And also, if you want to achieve any kind of goal, you have to be very disciplined for your goal. Then only you can achieve, and you should not never give up on your goal. There is a direct relationship between the self-discipline and your like this self-esteem and personal pride. Your success in life also depends more on the person you become rather than the materialistic things you are having. So by following the discipline, if you are becoming a better person, you will definitely going to achieve your all the goals and becoming more successful in your life. The third part is health. So as this new year is coming, how many of you are making the resolution? 1st January से तो start कर देना है मुझे. Lot of people pays a membership for the in this first week of January, because this is the New Year resolution for many of us are having. This year we will start our healthy lifestyle. We will go gym daily, and in that excitement, lot of people pay full year's membership fees also. But how many of them are actually doing this? How many of you like actually following this? So this is the question. Most of us want this to be healthy and to be fit, but how many of us actually doing this? Because action is the foundation key to all the success. So until you are taking any kind of action, it is just a wish. It is nothing more than your wish until you are taking any action. So you are listening to me, and we listen a lot of motivational videos and a lot of motivational things, but we are not executing this. Then it is not going to help you, because whatever you are listening, a lot of things you might be knowing already. But if you are not executing it, then it is not going to help you in any way. For 2 days or 3 days, it may keep you motivated, but ultimately it depends upon how much your actions you are taking and how you are adapting this in your life, whatever you are learning. And whatever I'm telling today, if even 3% or 4%, 5% you are adapting it in your life, then you can see the difference is happening in your life. Here, while talking about health, I have a very short, quick video of Kiran Bediji, how important the health is.
There is a very interesting story. A person of my age is in a park and he said, number one is health. So he says, I have one thing which is health. And he said, after that you add a zero of education, it becomes 10. He said, you add a zero, another zero, it becomes 100. I've got a job. Then you add another zero, I've got a lot of money to earn. So I'm 1,000. I add another zero, I got a lovely family, then I'm 10,000. I add zeros and zeros as I become a billionaire and a trillionaire or a rich in family, in job, in materialism. He says, you can add so many zeros to your life after this one, which is health. Then he says, you drop this health one. Everything becomes a zero.
So by this video, we can understand how important health is. If you are not healthy, then anything else is not meaningful for us. And when we are talking about health, it includes both mental health and physical health as well. And mental health is more important according to me, because if you are not mentally fit, then only you can use your physical fitness as well. Until otherwise, you will not be willing to do anything, or you are not that much motivated to do things, and you are not that much active in your life. So mental fitness and physical fitness both are very, very important. And while talking about the physical fitness, there are a few things very, very important, that we should be having a proper weight. Why it is very important? Because people who are overweight, they are not that much active in their life, and they don't feel that much good about themselves. Somewhere, whether they are showing or not, but somewhere they have that much, I'm not looking good, and I'm not, so they don't feel good also, and that somewhere it impacts their life as well. And another thing about health is proper diet. So there is two saying which are very close to my heart. So first is eat to live, not live to eat. There are a lot of people who are just living to eat. So another is eat your food like medicine. Otherwise, you have to eat your medicines like food. So here also comes the point I have discussed later, that choice you are making. So whenever you are eating something, take a little pause and ask yourself, is it important for me? Is it giving me some kind of value, or I'm eating this just because of my taste? So not every time you can eat just for health, but uh, 50% time or 60% time, like 2 meals, you should be eating what is your body's requirement, is not what your taste bud needs, but what your body actually needs. So at least 2 meals you should have, and 1 meal you can eat as per your taste buds. But another thing you can do, what I have done, I got a proper diet chart made by a dietitian experts, and what your body required and what your medical conditions are, accordingly you can follow your diet chart. Another thing is doing exercise daily. If you are doing any kind of physical activity, because being chartered accountant, we have lot of sitting jobs, and in that we have less movability, less activity, and our metabolism is not that much high, and we are not getting that much energy in your body. So you are doing any kind of aerobic exercise, walking, running, cycling, swimming, that will not only make you physically fit, but as well add uh, in your good mood also. You are not dependent on the other things to make you happy. So from when I started doing exercise, cycling and walk, I'm hardly watching TV or any kind of videos and anything, because that happiness I'm getting from my walk, and by these physical activities, I'm getting that my happiness. Another point is proper rest is very very important. What we youngsters are doing to achieve lot of in our life and to follow our ambition, many times we are not getting a good rest or good sleep, so it's making us sad. And we all know how important sleep is. It's giving us time to refresh, restart, and our body is repairing ourselves. So good sleep of 6 to 7 hours, depending upon a person to person, is very very important for them for healthy living. And while talking about the mental health, what I changed in my life is mindfulness. Earlier, while watching any kind of webinar in the lockdown time, I used to do some other thing also. Sometimes playing with my baby or doing some household work and anything else. But then I was not remembering much what has been told in the webinar. So I'm doubting on my memory. मुझे कुछ याद क्यों नहीं रहता है जो मैंने वेबिनार में सुना था, but I was not that much focused in that webinar and I was not listening that much. So this thing I changed. I'm not, and I read somewhere about it that our human mind is not made like that to do two processes at the same time. This is the computers are doing, but our human mind is made for doing one activity at a time. So when you are doing two activity in a same time, you are losing your focus from another thing. So it is very very important to give focus on one task at a time. Like if you are doing something, do it for 1 hour, 2 hour, then you can take a short break before starting another task and stay away from all the notifications. So this is actually I am following in my life. I have turned off all the notification of all the applications except my mail, because that is important to me. But other than the mail, WhatsApp, Facebook, and messages, all notifications are off in my phone. So I'm not getting any notification. I'm just getting calls or mails. Other than that, I'm not getting any kind of notification. So this is not distracting you, because once you are in a flow doing something and you get one notification and all your flow has been disturbed, then you are restarting. So it is a time wastage also, and it is not giving you that much output also, whatever you are doing. And this is about my journey of healthy lifestyle adapting. So this is before and after. Uh, I will say more than my physical appearance, as a person, I have changed the way I used to think, the way I used to talk with the people, and the conversation I used to have. That has all drastically changed. I met one person after 3 years, and he was not recognizing me from my voice only. He recognized, okay, Poonam, you are. And then he said, not only the way you look, but you changed as a person completely. I had a conversation with you 3 years back, and now when I am having conversation with you as a person, you have grown a lot, and your thought process has been changed completely. The person you were, the conversation you used to have is a completely different. So where once you adapt these healthy habits, it changes you as a person and makes you quite sorted, quite clear, because you are happy in what you are, in being yourself. And what changed, I feel one more thing, like I'm less complaining and less blaming also because of my healthy habits. I'm like that running change you through your mindset also. So what I felt, I became quite independent emotionally also. Whatever I'm feeling, it's because of me, and I am in charge of this, and I can change what the way I'm feeling about the other person and about myself as well. Moving towards the self-talk. So before understanding the importance of self-talks, we need to understand what self-talk is. So whenever wherever you are and you are sitting alone or doing something else, there is some noise in your mind is going on. There is some conversation is going on in your mind. I don't know how many of has given importance to it or not, but if you now think in that way, you will realize that there is some conversation in mind is going on. That is self-talk, and that self-talk, a lot of people starts writing, start journalizing when in a whole day what kind of thoughts they are getting. So generally, people get around I think 60,000 plus thoughts in a day, and lot of repetitive also, and that repetitive thoughts like coming because of the your way you think, what is your belief system is, according to that you are thinking, and your thinking pattern is so this is something is self talk, and what importance it plays your in your life, because what you are currently saying to yourself is making the person you are. If you are saying no, I can't do this is not for me, and I'm not that kind of person, you are becoming that whatever you are saying to yourself. So one of my senior while my daughter was 2 years old, I told one senior, I'm not getting much of time to work or do anything for me. So he said, Poonam, start saying that I have lot of time to, whenever you feel like this, start saying to yourself that I have lot of time, I have lot of time, and I can do everything. I have time to do everything. At that moment, I don't understand this concept, and I thought, how it is going to change anything just saying myself that I have time to do everything. But anyhow, I followed that, and somewhere things changed. Lot of new things happened. I got help from family, from the friends, and I found a good daycare for my daughter. But uh, ultimately, I made time to do everything what I want to do in my life, because I have that kind of positive perspective for the things. Yes, I can do. I have time. And otherwise, if I was saying, I was saying earlier, I was saying I don't have time. So things are coming in that way in my life. I was not able to do anything. So this happens in every area. If you are saying these kind of things about your body also, that uh, whatever the diet I'm following, but I can't lose weight, मेरा तो ये रीजन है, आई हैव सम काइंड ऑफ डिजीज, so मेरा तो हो नहीं सकता है, आई हैव small kids at home, it is difficult for me to go for walk. So these kind of circumstances will be coming in your life, whatever you are saying to yourself. If you are saying that it is difficult for you to get healthy, it is difficult. If you are saying yourself that no, it is not difficult and I can do this, then it is possible for you. Everything is starts what is your belief system is actually. If you believe that it is possible, then it is possible, because it is said that everything happens twice, once in your mind and another time actual in the reality. So once first thing you achieve need to achieve is achieve in your mind that thing, that then second time it will happen in your reality as well. So how important your thoughts are, you need to understand. Watch your thoughts. Watch your thoughts means you need to generalize what kind of thoughts you are getting in your daily life, in your day-to-day life. You can generalize it. Okay, so they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions. And when I'm reading this line, like watch your words, this has also happened with me. One of my senior told, Poonam, I think you are having a lot of negative mindset. These kind of words are coming from you. So I think there is a lot of negativity in your mindset. You need to change it. So whatever we are saying, that is coming from your thoughts. So and what you are saying, that becomes your action. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. So it becomes your future. So by your thoughts, you are creating your future as well. This is the importance of self-talk. So I just advise everyone to have a look and start journalizing what kind of thoughts you are getting. And another thing is about the self-talk, what you are telling yourself. Are you into the victim mentality or into an empowered state? If you are saying like, I feel lost, I need to find myself, and I can't do this, I can't do that. And when you are blaming other person for your life, for any kind of situation in your life, you are blaming other person, you are into the victim mentality, because you think that another person is responsible for your life and for the things happening in your life, then you are into a victim mindset. Not because I just keep having a conversation with lot of females who are into the career break, and then they want to come back in a profession. They are still holding those things which happened 5 years back, 10 years back. Because of this reason, I could not pursue my CA course. Because of that reason, I could not do job, and I have to take care my family, my kids. I was not having any kind of mm, help support system at home. So those uh, problem situation what happened 5 years back, 10 years back, these things they are still holding with them, and still they are blaming or complaining about the situation, and still thinking that someone else is responsible for the things that happen. So this is the victim mindset. But once you came out of that victim mindset and you are in your empowered self, then you understand that you always had a choice. If you have not like you agreed with that person, you made that choice of not pursuing your career and choosing your family before your career. This is the choice you also made. So you have to take that much responsibility, and you have to be that much empowered. Okay, that time I have made that decision, now I am able to take another decision of pursuing my career. That much empowered you have to be. So which mindset you are, which perspective you are seeing the life, these things will happen in your life. Fifth and the last point is forgiveness. So while we are talking about the forgiveness, it is very very important that you forgive the situation and the people around you. Also you need to forgive yourself also, because whatever happened 5 years back, 10 years back, this is, if you are holding right now also, you are not growing. This situation is controlling you today also. uh, while forgiving ourselves, because we had made a decision 2 years back or maybe 3 years back, but at that moment, I the person we are 3 years back, that decision may be the right decision. Today this is not the right decision, but 3 years back maybe that was only the right decision we have taken. So for those things we need to forgive ourselves, then only we can be able to think something new and to think about our growth. And here is a question comes, if anything's happened with you, what is your reaction for that situation? How long will it take me to get over this event and get on with my life? This question you need to ask. Whatever kind of thing happened with you, whatever may be the situation, you need to ask how and this is going to impact you as long as you are allowing this situation to impact you. If you are not allowing it, it will not impact you and it will not have any kind of control on yourself. So you just need to ask, okay, this has happened. How long it will take me to get over? So some people may get over in one day, some in 1 month, or some maybe can't get over even after the 10 years. And one of the major reason for unhappiness is for the people they are not able to forgive the other people. They are holding that those things, those events still with themselves, and their this forgiveness chart is just going constant. It's not rising, or so they are not growing also. And there is one saying, when you want to grow in your life, you should be light, so you can go up. The more you are burdened with the complaint and blames, you can't go up much, because that burden will take you at the lower ground only. And one more thing is there, like you should never do the things which you don't like to be done for yourself. Is there any kind of behavior you can't take for yourself, don't do with others also. And if you can't take anything on your self-esteem, don't try to lower other person's self-esteem as well. And the most harmful thing for a human relationship is destructive criticism. What you can't say any person's face, don't ever say that on their back as well, because somewhere it is degrading yourself also. So like I understood, it is difficult to do the way it is said, but we need to follow these things, and with the regular exercise and regular uh, changing this, we can become that kind of person where we are not more complaining and blaming and talking about the other people. We should more think about ourselves and our growth. What other persons are doing, that none of our business. And when it's about the becoming best version of you, we all know we want to hang out with the people, we want to work with the people who are more happy, more cheerful, and not talking about other people, but talking about the growth, how we can grow, how can we can become better. So if we want to hang out with these kind of cheerful people, we should also become that one happy and cheerful person. And here comes some point, like accept people the way they are, not try to change everyone, and they should be fit in your box only. If they are in that kind of person, we should be able to accept them as they are. So your appreciation for others instead of complaining, because a lot of situations happen, so you try to see the things from a positive perspective, and do the appreciation for the good things and leave the bad things about that person. Never criticize, condemn, or complain. And this I have said earlier also, because when you are criticizing someone, you are degrading yourself also. And what you can't take about yourself, don't try to say about other self also. And refuse to blame anyone. You are your 100% responsibility. So this statement I just keep reminding myself lot of time, that not even 99.99%, I am my responsibility 100%. And this one statement make me so much empowered, and I just forget everything. Like this person, we have a lot of expectation from the other person, and this person should have done this to me, and these kind of things that person should be done. But once I say to myself, no, I am my 100% responsibility, not even 99.99%. And this one statement makes me so much empowered. This is the one reason I can rely on myself and do things for myself. So here I'm concluding my talk with one quote which I liked a lot. Life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. And each and every moment, knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously, we are creating ourselves either positively or negatively, but in each and every moment with the choice we are making, we are creating yourself. So decision is yourself, in which way you want to create yourself and what kind of person you want to become. Thank you everyone for giving me so much time and listening to me. I'm really very grateful for all of you. And if you have any question, I'm open for the questions. And this is my link tree. So all the social media handles I have linked in this. So once you click on this, and you will get all my social media handles, and I would love to connect with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, so much for all the things you have mentioned, especially the 5 months which you have covered were literally very enriching. So believe in yourself, self-discipline, health is wealth, importance of self-love, and the forgiveness. So we have one question from the participant, ma'am. So the question is regarding, can you give some suggestions for mental fitness?
For the mental fitness, it starts with the physical fitness. You start sleeping early and getting up early. This is the most important, because we are getting up late till night and scrolling our mobiles and all, and then in morning time you are getting up late. This is something makes us mentally unfit, or you can say depressed kind of. So if you once try to wake up around 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., it will really give you very good feelings or good vibes. And then you can do meditation at home, or you can go for a walk in some good place like a park, and where they're close to the nature. It will make you happy, and you can feel that happiness.
Sure, thank you, ma'am. The other one is, like health is very important for us, and we have to surround ourselves with the positive environment around us. So then, how do you deal in a situation when the surrounding around you is negative? So how do you deal with that?
You just need to ignore. But I agree, it is not that much easy for us to ignore the situation, but you have to start like this. You where your focus is, that is more important. So if your focus is on the negative things around you, you will get negative, and it will stop you to doing the things for yourself. And once your focus is on your self growth and on making yourself a better person, those things will disappear, and those things will become irrelevant for you in some period of time, maybe 3 months, 6 months. I have done this in my life. That's why I'm saying, while I was not able to clear my CA final, there are a lot of people are saying leave CA. It has taken you have taken around 7 attempts. Now what is the point in pursuing CA? And agar CA ban bhi gaye to kya karne wale ho tum? You just leave it. But instead of listening to those noise, although that noise makes you discomfortable, demotivate you, but you need to give focus to the things you want in your life. The more you will give focus what you want in your life, another things will become irrelevant for you.
Correct. Well said, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. And just one more thing, like for the mental fitness right now, most of us are facing a lot of time spending on the laptops, mobile phones, and the other distractions. So, with respect to that, how do you reduce your screening time, the screen time which you spend throughout the day?
So for this also, I have read a book, Eat That Frog. I recommend all of you to read that book. After reading that book, I have turned off all my notifications. So once any notifications comes, and we think just let scroll Instagram for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, but then this 5 minutes converts into a 1 hour or maybe 2 hours, and more because you are watching reels and reels and reels. So you just need one thing I learned from that book is you can turn off your notification, and then the same rule apply here also. What you are giving focus. So if you are thinking I will not spend much time on the screen, I will not spend, you are doing the same thing. So find out what is more another thing you like, what is your hobby, and what you love to do. So I love reading, so I found my interest in that. So instead of giving focus to reducing my screen time, I was giving more focus to reading the books, and with the time my screen time reduced.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this. I don't think so. We have any further questions from the participants. So now I take an opportunity on behalf of Women Members Empowerment Committee to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, CA Poonam Pathak. Ma'am, thanks for accepting our invitation and being here with us today. Your thoughts have truly inspired us. And yeah, the start point I really liked when you asked us to reflect upon ourselves. Like you mentioned the question, who Poonam is, what does Poonam want in her life? So that really make us think upon ourselves and reflect our own thoughts. Thanks for that. I also would like to thank our chairperson, C. Supriya Kumar, and vice chairperson, C. Preeti Savla. Thanks for all the participants for joining. I would like to thank the committee members and the support staff who handled the event throughout. Thanks everyone. And I would like to thank technical team also for handling everything and would close the session now. Thank you.
Thank you so much.